from the MITM Business Consultants
comes Man in the Middle, your one-stop shop for financial tips and tricks that big banks in corporate America won't teach you
and don't want you to know.
Discussing the latest and greatest products, services, skills, and habits to grow and support the financial needs of your business and you. Giving you the knowledge to help make your own important choices for your business and you.
Disclaimer: Man in the Middle expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, reliance on, or inability to use this podcast or the information presented in this podcast.
Now, here is your Man in the Middle with 10 years of experience in the financial and banking industry, Art Abrahamian.
What's going on, everybody? This is episode 5 of Man in the Middle. I am here with George. George, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. How you guys doing?
We are doing good, and we are here with a very special guest. We have been dying to have him on the podcast. Our clients have been asking for somebody to teach about crypto, and we finally got the master that we know. We have our special guest, Noah Yaghoubian, with us today. He's the owner of NYPCIT. Noah, what's going on? How are you?
Not much. Been a long, busy day at work. Doing well.
That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. It's going to be about 12 years now. We're a managed service provider. So we manage the internal IT for small businesses. Everything having to do with the wires in the walls, to the cloud, to passwords, employees. We manage all the technology in small businesses.
Very nice. Very nice. And you're a bit of a crypto master. I mean, I've known you coming on a long time, almost 10 years, and man, you have just been from day one a crypto guy, and it's just gotten more and more in depth.
Yeah, really the past couple years. I think for me, the pandemic is what really sparked my interest, just because the market, tanked so badly. And so when the market tanked, that was when I really went, oh, this looks like a good, buying opportunity, and started jumping in and really immersing myself more in the crypto market. And since then, I mean, it's starting to turn into a business at this point. I really think it is the future and the future of our worlds, and it's a very, very exciting time for me. Very exciting. I mean, when you could be an IT guy and you build a computer and you plug it into the internet and you run it all the time and it makes you money, it's like, mind blown.
Yeah.
I mean, in what world can you plug a computer in and turn it on and it makes you money?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's an amazing
I wish
time.
that was the case in my house. It's just a bill. It's never. it's never.
Well, you can always set up a rig in there, make some money.
That's true, but then you deal with the wife going, "Oh, why is it so loud? It's all this heat coming out from the room."
Got a little
It's
heater in
funny,
there.
George. I called him yesterday. I was like, "Hey, you're still good to come on today?" Or he goes, "Yeah, I'll be there." And I just hear in the wah
In the background.
and I was like, "You hear that?"
Got a lawnmower on there, man.
I was like, "Yeah, where are you? At work or something? You're working on someone's server?" He's like, "No, I'm making money."
Making a lot of money.
It's just my rigs. Yeah, I'm up to 9 rigs
At the
now.
house?
Yeah, 9 rigs, pushing over 1 gig hash on Ethereum, which is around like $100 a day. I'm doing
Each
on
rig?
Ethereum. No, I'm running about 6 Ethereum rigs and then 3 altcoin rigs. We can get into the details of those.
We will. We will.
That's awesome.
So you're making about $900 a day just from the house.
No, it's about $100 a day. Yeah, about $100 a day I'm doing off of these machines. And it's like a little under, it's around a $15,000 investment.
Nice.
That I put into it. Yeah.
It's three grand a month almost. You break even in 5 months. That's pretty darn good for.
Yeah,
15.
my break even is around 6 to 9 months. That's what I try and keep my rigs on, and I have some of them that have paid themselves off already.
Nice.
And then I have newer ones that I'm working towards it.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into it here. We wrote out some questions. This is probably going to be a little bit longer of a podcast than usual because this one is one of those topics where we definitely want to dive deep. Fair warning, we're all going to try to be on our best behavior. If cursing comes out, we apologize. We'll try to keep it at a very, very minimum.
I'm an angel.
So one of the top questions that our clients ask us, Noah, is crypto money?
In my opinion, it's much better than money. I think dirty fiat money is garbage, especially if you look at the past 2 years. All we have seen is our money decline. You know, like even though a lot of people that I know are making more money, but in reality, it's not worth as much as it was.
Right.
You know, 2 3 years ago because of the inflation.
Yeah, and the thing about inflation is you're looking at annually a 2.3% hike every year, but in the last 4 months we've had a 5.6% increase alone. So, when we talk to clients and we talk about retirement and stuff, and they're like, "Well, I don't need that much," and it's like, "No, you're going to need a lot more than you think, because what you think your $100 or $200 or $300,000 is today is not the case 10 years, 15 years from now at the rate that it's going." So crypto doesn't inflate or deflate, I guess, or
Crypto is volatile, especially right now because we're still kind of in the beginning, I guess, stages, so to say. Even though it's been around for over 10 years, right now, in my opinion, we're really seeing the major adoption of it. And with that major adoption of, say, Bitcoin as an example, it will eventually start to become, less volatile.
Yeah.
But as for, does it deflate or inflate, it's not a bank's money, it's the people's money.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to compare the two. The way that I'm looking at it is, here's a platform that's away from our banks and away from our government. I don't know everybody's opinion on it, but right now I don't have too much trust in our government.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah,
So
at
that's
this
why
point.
I think we could all.
right now I think a lot of people are having mistrust in our government, especially with the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you have these guys coming up, the Fed coming up, and they start talking about like quantitative easing and all this crap, and I'm sitting there and looking at them going, "What the hell is quantitative easing?" I know a lot of smart people, and they don't know quantitative easing either. It's like, if you ask me, it just seems like some big word to kind of, squirrel you to some other direction. But for me, I go off of what I see, and what I see is in the past 24 months, my ground beef has gone up 100%.
Yeah.
My gas has gone up, at least 50 to 70% or something in the past 24 months. Utilities are going up. Everything is going up.
Right.
I mean, you go in the store, and it's astronomical, The prices of things are just outrageous.
Yeah.
To me, I feel safer putting my money in Bitcoin because at least now I have a chance to make more money.
Yeah. Makes sense.
At the very least, if you can beat inflation, like I'm also a gold and silver. I'm pretty bullish on gold and silver, and I collect physical gold and silver, because for me, it's a hedge against inflation. And at least if, in 10 years, if I can go cash that gold and silver out and I've been able to beat inflation, I'm going to feel like a big winner.
Yeah.
But if you look at something like Bitcoin and you go back 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I remember a buddy of mine, we were talking about it. We were going, "Hey, have you heard of this Satoshi guy? He's making a Bitcoin and it's like digital money." And we, looked at blockchain, kind of studied it, and we both looked at each other and went, there's nothing backing it. How's it going to do well? This is over 10 years ago. But fast forward, now I know why it can do well. And quite honestly, if I were one of the guys who started buying Bitcoin at pennies, I'd be jumping up and down.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even know you. You
Yeah,
wouldn't even
right?
be here right now.
I've got a friend, he got into Bitcoin at Bitcoin 3000.
Yeah.
He's doing very well.
Wow. I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah, he's doing very well. But, even him, he tells me, I'm not touching Bitcoin till $500,000.
Until it goes up to
Until $500,000. Yeah. He's in it for a long run. It's not for him. It's actually for his kids.
Yeah.
He's very, very bullish. Same like me. Doesn't have too much confidence in the government. Doesn't have too much confidence in the banks and what's going on.
Yeah.
And he just sees it as it's the people's money, And if you have the same amount of people as gold, so I think gold is around a $10 trillion market cap just for gold. I could be right, could be wrong, somewhere around there. If you had around 10 trillion in Bitcoin in the market cap, nobody knows how much a Bitcoin will be.
Yeah.
Because all the coins have not been mined, for one, and there hasn't been over a 1.5 trillion market cap. So who's to say even when it goes to 3 trillion, it could be $250,000.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
based
think
on the blockchain. The blockchain, the supply of the token, how many miners you have. They're different. The halving cycle. There's a bunch of things that can come into play.
right.
But for one thing that I have, seen and tracked over the years is I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin 3,000 again.
What do you think about the government getting involved in cryptocurrencies, especially with the lawsuit that's going on between XRP, Ripple, and the SEC?
So I think that regulations are going to have to be a must.
Yeah.
The government has to get involved with it. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Our government has to have their hands in just about everything. I totally get it,
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they're moving towards is centralization of, certain cryptos on their bank platform or on a platform like Coinbase or Binance.
Yeah.
I already know that the Fed is partnering with Coinbase, and it's going to come to a point where if you have, your money in Coinbase, you're going to have to pay capital gains. And I guess if you're part of, that platform and society and, you're making money because we're in this society that's allowing us to have this opportunity, you got to comply with the rules that they put out. Now, that has nothing to say about DeFi, though. So let's talk a little bit, I think, about DeFi might be good to dig into that. So Ethereum is a certain type of crypto, and Bitcoin too. They're both decentralized. They're both, decentralized finance. So what that means is there's not just one person that can see everything and alter everything and change the code and,
Right.
And manipulate things. But if that crypto is on a centralized exchange like Coinbase. So Coinbase is, one of the top 5 exchanges.
Yeah, I use it.
Yeah, I use it too.
A lot of people do, yeah.
It's absolutely great. I think it's probably the easiest platform. It's very fast. Their support's actually really, really good. I think it's a great, platform. But they are going to have to partner with the government for centralization. It's just, it's just what the government does. And so I think that's fine. But you can also go into different programs. Like there's one called MetaMask. MetaMask is a full decentralized wallet. So what that means is that you can buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or different. For me, I use it for Ethereum. I'm very bullish on Ethereum. I'm mining mainly Ethereum. For me, I think Ethereum is a very usable type of crypto for real world applications, like companies that run on it, software that runs on it, and is using it on a daily basis. So with MetaMask, the way that it works is the blockchain runs it. And when you sign up for a MetaMask decentralized wallet, you're not putting in, I'm Noah Yaghoubian, and here's my social security number and my house address, and, here's my child's name for a security question.
Yeah, that's what Coinbase asked me to do. I set up the account. It's like, send us a picture of your driver's license.
Yeah.
And I closed the app. And I started reaching out, like my brother used. I was like, hey, did you have to do this too? Or did I get the fraudulent version?
No.
Like, no, that's what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's the process, yeah.
I think it's good. While it is taking the DeFi out of it, it's giving newcomers or people who want to get in it that like safe feeling, because they do have some sort of insurance. They do have some insurance. They have very strong security on Coinbase. It's just as secure as your bank, I would say. They have all the same security protocols. They have a great cybersecurity team. They've got 2-factor authentication, for getting in where they send you a code and, blah, blah, blah. So I would say it's a very good, secure platform. It just depends on what you're trying to go to, what you like, where you are in your crypto journey, so
Right.
to say.
Yeah. One of the questions that actually was brought up was crypto created by criminals to launder money?
This question I
Yeah.
think is funny. Do you have anything to say about it? I think
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, based off of all my research, most politicians are involved in money laundering, sex trafficking, and no. And I'd hate to get into this. I'm not even going to get into the politics. I'm just gonna.
We're not.
I just want to throw that out. But based off of all my research,
we know there's a few people in certain positions who are
Yeah.
actually being probed right now because of their stock fraud. They've,
yeah,
So much of that
So-
going on.
yeah.
it's a lot of insider trade that's going on. A lot of people are being probed for it. So I mean, to say that it doesn't exist is childish.
it exists.
It exists. It
It
definitely
exists.
exists.
Yeah.
I don't think it stands on one spectrum or the other, but
Yeah.
it exists.
To answer, I think that question a little better, or maybe,
Yeah.
USD. So our fiat money in the U.S., we are the leader currency in the world, from what I know. So that means majority of the world really runs on U.S. dollar. And if you actually do some research and look at statistics that companies have done, the U.S. dollar is used in the most criminal activity in the world. Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that, they're much, much newer. They're trying to compare a one. Right now, I think the entire crypto market's at like 2 point something trillion for all of them. It's under
Combined.
3 trillion. Yeah, all of them. It's like 10,000 tokens. I don't even
Yeah.
know. There's so many projects out there you can't even keep up.
But most of them are meme coins.
Oh, I don't even want to get in
Yeah.
meme coins. We'll talk about those
Yeah.
too. But I think that how can you say that, oh, this is such a big money laundering, platform when there's so much more cash like US fiat out there,
Yeah.
and then also, I mean, look, I'm here with three guys, and you have a technology background. I mean, you went to school for technology, and you're not even using Bitcoin or Ethereum. Do you
No,
know?
I have Shiba.
Yeah, you have some Shiba.
I got a couple $100 of Shiba.
Trash.
I
Just
know,
kidding, man.
because
I'm
I
joking.
I read an article and it was like, I thought about it. I looked at its numbers. I was like, what if this thing does what that Dogecoin did?
Oh, it absolutely did.
Every $100 bought me like 2 million shares. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy.
why not?
I'm gonna buy like 6 million shares of this. And even if it goes from 0.0006 to like 10 cents, I'm gonna sell it. And I tell my wife, honey, we paid off the house.
Now we're
There you
good,
go.
right? But I think to answer your question, how can something like Bitcoin be used for all this criminal activity when our U.S. fiat is the world leader in money?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a lot easier to track money personally, whereas like with the blockchain ledger, the ledger itself is so difficult to be able to track all these transactions. It's transparent, but everything is coded, and based off of what I know, it's difficult to hack, and it's difficult to cheat the system.
Extremely.
And so, with that being said, I think that's why a lot of them are involved in that.
In the criminal activity? you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see why people are using it for that.
Yeah.
But
But then again, I mean,
It's no
like-
different
it's
than
one
the
of
guy
those
who owns like
things,
12
right.
car washes and
yeah.
runs
Yeah,
his money through
yeah.
there. So I guess
Exactly.
you make money, and there's going to be criminal activity with it. I
Everywhere.
really think that's mainstream media and governments trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
Especially China.
That's where you hear it the most.
Yeah. Oh.
That's all you ever hear.
Especially China. China's really, really trying to kill the
mining.
people's money.
Yeah.
Well, not only mining. I mean, just their citizens from holding and using
Yeah.
it. Period. And the reason for that is because they want their money only on their system. They don't want their citizens to know, hey, we could put money in this and become rich. We could put our money in this and beat inflation. We could put our money in this and, transfer it in a split second for a half, a fraction of a penny and move it around. I mean, the last time I did a small wire transfer, it was like $35 or $40, to move some money around. And I just did a little crypto transfer the other day, and it was pennies.
Yeah.
I mean, pennies.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I used to be your relationship manager back when I worked.
yeah.
I was the guy that was charging you
You were the guy
$35 and
taking me the
$45. I didn't get the fees, but I got to charge you the fees. So, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. You know, if you think about it, domestic wire transfers are $35, international wire transfers are $45. And if you're telling me you could move the same exact dollar amount in crypto for $2,
it's actually much less.
For 1/10 of a penny, my man.
Yeah, 1/10 of a penny.
Yeah.
you know,
To compare just real quick, like, okay, so an ACH transaction, ACH the check, right? That is
electronic
slow.
check.
Yeah,
That's
an
what ACH
electronic
is.
check. It is slow and insecure.
What's the company behind that? Isn't it Swift?
There's many companies.
Swift was
Swift,
used
right?
as a code, yeah. So whenever we would do wire transfers at the bank, we'd ask the clients, "Do you have your Swift code?"
Yeah.
Swift is typically used for more international. Otherwise, we just use routing number, which is ABA number.
Okay.
But, when you do one of those transactions, it could take a few days to get your money.
Right.
And that's if everything goes well. There are times where I ran into holds and they held the money, for a week because they had to verify something on the other end where the person, sent it to me. And then there's that fee. And it's like, well, why do I have to wait, 2-3 days, maybe even a week
Could take up to
to
3
get
days.
my money? Yeah, it's usually about 2 or 3 days. And, with crypto, it's like you could do it within a second. It just bink, and there it goes. And the next person gets it.
And I think that's why one of these, all these financial institutions are starting to implement CBDCs.
Yeah.
And crypto's coming. We're early to the party. So
I do think we're early. Like right now, we're definitely seeing a boom, and I'm sure we'll see a bear market at some point. Which I'm kind of looking forward to.
So you could buy more.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm in a very
yeah.
long-term mindset. I'm in at least a 10-year mindset on this. For me, it's one of those things where I want to get filthy rich off of it.
Yeah.
Being quite honest, and it's very possible to do. I'm not doing it in a gambling way or in a, let's jump all into Shibu, token and try and get rich. But I'm trying to do it in a more business manner.
Yeah, you're diversifying your
Absolutely.
crypto portfolio.
Yeah.
In case anybody doesn't know, so bullish in stock terms just means you're aggressive. Bearish means you're very passive and careful. So if you guys hear bullish, bearish, it just means one's aggressive, one's passive.
One's up, one's down.
Exactly.
But
one of the questions, and I always had this thought process on it too, and it was pretty much, how can I buy something with it if the price keeps changing? And the story I remember reading where somebody purchased, Lamborghini, I think, was one of the first car dealerships to accept Bitcoin for a purchase of one of their vehicles. And at the time, the coin was about $35,000. And I remember the first thing I said, which I was wrong, mind you, when I say this, is they took the coins when they were at their peak for the exact dollar amount that Lamborghini was worth, whether it was $250,000 or $300,000. But if that coin dips, which I thought it was, I was like, they're going to get ripped off. Because if I own it in this coin and the coin drops in value, don't I now lose on that sale?
you would have to pay more Bitcoin. Yes.
Okay.
Because the price of it is fluctuating.
So it's more of a gamble. If you choose to accept Bitcoin, you yourself as a business, if you choose to accept it, maybe not Bitcoin because it is so popular, but we're just saying crypto in general, it is a gamble because the Lamborghini dealership that hands you their car that's valued under their MSRP at $250,000, let's say, and you gave them $250,000 worth of crypto 2 years ago, well, that $250,000 of crypto 2 years ago is now worth $1 million, $1 million, $2 million, whatever it's worth, millions and millions of dollars.
More than that. Yeah, it'd be, I mean, Bitcoin did, what, a 10x cycle in the past couple of years.
So there you go. So that Lamborghini dealership made $3.5 million
yeah.
off of that one car. And honestly, I was wrong. I was like, dude, that's stupid. I don't know why. Because if that thing goes down, they're going to lose money on that car. But, they have the money to play that way.
Something I have to say is if it was such a gamble, why is Apple accepting Bitcoin? Why is Microsoft accepting Bitcoin? I mean, even Tesla was doing it for a little bit there, right? But it's like if you have these literally the biggest corporations in the world, jumping on board, there's something they know. and they know that technology is moving in that direction.
Right.
Right now, everything, our entire ecosystem right now is moving into a digital, currency, whether it be a CBDC, which stands for a central bank digital currency, which in my opinion, that would just be like converting our dollar to a digital version,
Which they're working on anyways,
it's
right?
going to happen. Yeah, I believe Europe gave like a 2 or 3 year timeline that they want to do it. China's rolling theirs out right now. Russia's talking about theirs. Australia and a few other countries.
One of the
London
countries in South America have already
collaborating.
switched over to the national
El Salvador fully. So
they did
El
away with
Salvador,
their currency.
Well, that's because it got so inflated.
Right.
Because of how corrupt their government is. The same thing is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria, the citizens there, they have no confidence in their government, so they've been putting all their money in Bitcoin, and they're jumping up and down. But what happened is it forced the government to go digital with a digital e-nair, I think it's called. And it's not doing that great from what I've been reading.
Yeah.
Because it's just a digital version of crappy fiat money.
Yeah, it's a digital version of trash.
Yeah, like it's like they're putting lipstick on a pig and going, hey, it's this great, new thing. But no, it's not. It's not. It's actually more of a way for your government to track you,
right,
and actually control you, in my opinion. While cash is traceable to some extent, it's like if I take $10 and go to the gas station and buy a soda and chips, my government doesn't know. But if you take $10 of digital currency and you go to your gas station and you buy a soda and a chips, now your government knows. And what they're also going to do, in my opinion, is start incentivizing things or de-incentivizing things. So maybe they'll say, hey, at this week at this store, you get a 10 or 20% cut if you go there and you buy this. That could be odd because now they're incentivizing things on their digital currency. And I'm not so hot on that, because it's more manipulation, it's more control, it's more, handling all of us.
Yeah, there's always a downside, huh?
There's always a downside. And I know that they're going to do that.
Yeah.
But, imagine if they go, hey, if you don't do this, you're not going to get your extra, digital money this month.
Just freeze your account.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, So there are some downsides to it. But I do think moving forward to the future, we're going to have to go to a digital dollar. We have to.
Yep.
I can tell you right now, from the inside, working in a bank, so you're talking about like them tracking crypto. I see what you're saying about it being harder to track money than crypto, but from a level of like being in a financial institution background, we used to have to file reports on all kinds of stuff. So we had 3 reports. We had an MIL, which was called a monetary instrument log. We had a UAR, which was called an unusual activity report. And we had what was called a CTR, which is like a controlled currency. It was a currency transaction report. And what it pretty much, we would file a UAR, the unusual activity report, if you would like come in and do, hey, I'm going to put 4,000 in today and I'm going to put 6,000 in tomorrow, or I'm going to go put 5,000 in the ATM and then 4,000 here. Because people would be like, oh, I'm just not going to put 10,000 because I know that the IRS is going to, look it up. And it's like, you just put yourself on this log. Yeah, because then immediately thereafter, they instruct you to fill out that report because they know you're trying to avoid the IRS.
Yeah, I would absolutely say that crypto is much harder to track.
Right, because there's no UAR, MIL, or CTR. And in CTR, we would just file if anybody's ever deposited more than $10,000 cash. That's when you hear the banker start asking you or the teller start asking you, what's your social? What do you do for a living? Blah, 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 blah. They're filing a controlled transaction report on you or a currency transaction report. And that goes straight to the IRS. But yeah, man, I mean, there's tons of those forms. And I did 10 years in the industry and I countless times.
And it's getting much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, our current administration, they're trying to bring those numbers down to 600. So you mentioned 10,000 as,
I think that's ridiculous.
Magic number. I think that's correct. I could be wrong.
They already talked about changing it.
They're talking about it.
So I've been asked to cover this topic, and George.
We did on the last podcast.
George asked us to cover this topic, and we've had clients call and ask us to talk about it. But I said I'm not talking about it until it's done, because I knew 600 won't hold. So the reason that it was 600 is because
so low.
you want to know why it was 600? You can't give somebody a 1099 form unless it's at least $600.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I didn't think about that.
So if I'm doing taxes, and whenever I would do like when I do taxes during season with one of our partners, I help them out doing taxes. I would do like his 1099s to help him out and get some 1099s out while we were doing taxes, and anything under 600 was, even the system won't let you do it. But without getting too deep into it, because they've already talked about moving it to like 10,000 or 100,000, but then they were talking about moving it to 1 million because they were realizing that was going to affect more common people than it would all these millionaires and billionaires. They're trying to
quote unquote realizing.
Right. So,
Come on,
well, I mean, it's ridiculous. 600.
It's more control over our money. How can anybody put a suggestion of $600? You can't even rent a single bedroom apartment or a studio.
Well, I think part of that too
$600
works like this, right? Like and this was my big thing, and I've talked to our clients about this, and we won't dive too deep into it because again, that's until it's set in stone, we won't give our opinion on it. But if I buy something, like let's say I go to the store and I buy a couch for $1,000 and I'm moving and I sell this thing for $600. So now what? On eBay, I sell it for $600. So now eBay's sending me a 1099 as if I made an income, but in reality, I took a loss. So now what? I've got to go into my taxes, and then I don't know what would be the offset. You probably file what's called a Schedule C and just say, well, I took a loss on this item, and if that's how you're going to tax me as a contractor, then it's a business.
I would like to think that our Fed's not going to do that.
I don't think for 600.
So. I
think they've already discussed that 600 is way too low.
Right
the concept
now,
was stupid altogether.
If you look at the world right now, in my opinion, everything is extremes. Everything is extreme this, extreme that, extreme here, extreme there, It just seems like everything coming out right now is very extreme. I could be wrong because, me and my family, we didn't think they were going to be able to lock everything down and shut us down and, literally threaten to arrest us if you opened your business.
Or if you went to the park.
Yeah, if you went to, right? We didn't think that was going to happen either, so I wouldn't put it past them. But I think it would hinder them.
Yeah.
Right now the IRS is struggling as it is.
And they want to hire new agents too. They were talking about hiring like 6,000 new agents or whatever the number was.
It was a massive
just
number.
To track regular citizens.
It was a massive number, but good luck.
One of the questions here, no, I laughed. I really laughed when I wrote this one down. Is crypto a cult?
A cult?
Come on, man. Don't go there, man.
It's a pyramid scheme.
Is it?
I hear that all the time.
Next to Grant Cardone, allegedly.
Please.
Cult. I guess you could call anything a cult when you really get into something and you're pretty diehard about it and, you're very passionate or whatnot. Sure, call it a cult. No, it is not a cult. I don't see how a digital, piece of software that's called a blockchain can be a cult because a blockchain doesn't judge. A blockchain doesn't hate. A blockchain doesn't love.
What is a blockchain? You guys have been saying that, and I'm not
a digital ledger.
So the blockchain is like a bank ledger, but a digital one.
It's a digital ledger, and it just tracks every transaction.
And in a nutshell, if you can say visualize a honeycomb in your mind, right? And that honeycomb, you have all sorts of little combs, right? And picture each one of those little combs in that entire big honeycomb is a server. And they're all linked together. So let's say you have 10,000 servers that are all talking to each other in this honeycomb, which is actually the blockchain, right? When a transaction happens on the ledger, you can have 100 or thousands of these servers verify and make sure that transaction happens. That's what makes it so efficient. So you worked at the bank and you had somebody come to the bank and give you money and you were one person looking over that transaction. You can make a mistake. Easy you can make a mistake. The blockchain, it would have to make a mistake like 10,000 times because that's how blockchain works. There are many servers that all join together to create, in a nutshell, one gigantic brain of computing power. And the more servers you have, the better and more efficient that platform will run.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that's how I explain blockchain. is just a bunch of servers that are linked together to figure out an equation. And that is...
I love that. That's awesome. It's a good answer.
I mean, that makes more sense than...
Well, if you do start diving in deeper, it can get very complicated because, you have things like nodes and master nodes and different types of
But that's
nodes.
like
and
deep into it.
Yeah,
NFTs,
it's a
all
little
that stuff.
deeper. In a nutshell, a node operator. So there are people that run a node, and a node is where you're running the blockchain software, and that software is what governs the security and money moving through it and the transactions and all of that. So the more nodes that you have, the better, because the faster your network will run, the smoother it is, the bigger it can grow, the more it can handle, etc. There's quite a bit to it, so we'll try and keep it simple just by explaining
right.
blockchain.
Let's pull up another question here. We already talked. That was one of them. What is blockchain, and can you explain it? You already did that. So this was interesting. So there's this thing called addresses, right? Crypto addresses, like Bitcoin address.
A wallet address. I refer it as a wallet address.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the wallet or that address that you're talking about, that's what holds your crypto, right? So talking about Coinbase. So Coinbase is an exchange as well as a wallet, right? And if you go on Coinbase, they have over 100 tokens, I think. And each individual crypto, so I'm just going to use two, so say Bitcoin and Ethereum, they both have their own unique address that identifies your wallet on the blockchain. So when we talked about that honeycomb and all the servers talking to each other and etc., there's a long code. It's like between a 20 and 30 character code. I don't remember the exact number of it. But that number is what identifies you on the blockchain, which is a software in a nutshell, So they're not identifying you by your first and last name or your social security number or what color you are or race or, all the baloney that's going on in the world, right? Because it doesn't discriminate. A blockchain is a piece of software and it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. I like that.
I love that.
What is your profit? So we talked about you mining. And for those who don't know, mining means you're just searching for these coins, because the way that the coins are generated is the computer runs an algorithm in a program.
Yeah.
And it solves these algorithms, and in return it receives
It rewards you.
a chunk of a chunk of a chunk of a coin.
That's correct. So mining, let me explain it a little bit. From the way that I understand that it works, there are two different ways that you can be rewarded, at least in the way that I'm mining. And one of those is you're helping solve the equation, for the ledger, right? You're offering power to the blockchain so it can figure out its equations. And then when enough servers work together to figure out that equation, you now get rewarded in that crypto. Mm-hmm. The other way is by the gas fees that you can also get rewarded as well. But quite honestly, as a miner, I don't even see any of that. All I deal with are, random code coming down the streams and temperatures and making sure that my airflow is good and my electricity is working. Yeah, so they stay on. I'm not worrying about, am I getting rewarded from, a fee or from it figuring out, a blockchain equation. Yeah. I'm not worrying about that part. But there are different ways that you can get rewarded. And there are other types of, ways to earn income, such as yielding and staking. Those are different ways that you can earn money with crypto as well. But I'm mainly focusing on the mining aspect of it.
Which is generating it.
Yeah. So what I am netting right now I'm doing around 3,000 gross a month.
Right.
Off of it's a little above a 15,000 investment that I put into it. After I pay my electricity, I'm going to be getting somewhere around $2,300 to $2,500.
That's actually one of the questions. So it's you pay about $500 a month in electrical
to make 3,000.
Yeah, that's still
around $2,300 to $2,500. So $700 to $500 for electricity. Right now, I'm like adding more rigs, and so my electricity is really fluctuating.
Yeah.
I'm shutting them down and taking them back to my shop and like upgrading them, and then bringing them back.
Yeah.
And I have to shut them down because sometimes the house gets too hot, or or whatever.
Do you run it throughout the summer?
Yeah.
Really?
I ran them throughout the summer, and my wife was not happy.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
we had the AC on all day, all morning, all night, and it would get hot.
Wow.
But I'm in I'm in a hodl mode, right? Like I'm in a long term. I want to accumulate
as much as possible.
much as possible. Yeah. And for the different projects, they get me excited because it's not just like one crypto that you can mine. You can mine a bunch of different types. And the way that I look at Ethereum mining is Ethereum is like solid money you're making on a daily basis for the future, for, buying groceries or whatever. Quite honestly, right now, I'm not using any of it. What I am doing with my profits is I'm sending it off to different exchanges to purchase other cryptos. So just about every time that I get rewarded, I'll take maybe $250 or $500 or whatever the amount is, and I'll move it to a different project. Right now, I own around 70 different cryptos in different exchanges, just because I'm very.
What are your
bullish,
top five?
Top five, it's got to be Bitcoin and Ethereum are my the top two. It's just because Satoshi was a freaking genius. I don't know, nobody knows who the guy is. He's the guy who invented Bitcoin, but he's a genius, and he's the first to market, the biggest market cap. So to me, it's kind of like this store of value, like gold almost. The way that I look at Ethereum as if they're kind of like Microsoft, They're like this gigantic corporation that all these other umbrella companies are going to use their software. And you can get into that. There's called layer 1, layer 2, layer 3s. These are different types of cryptos. And Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're both layer 1 cryptos. In a nutshell, it means that other types of cryptos can run on theirs and make it more efficient. Or make some changes because it's now their platform running on somebody else's. So I would say Bitcoin, Ethereum, those are my two most bullish, and I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum Classic. So Ethereum a few years ago, somebody discovered a vulnerability, a security issue in it, and during that security issue, they kind of said, "Hey, we can, do this to fix it." Or we can create a new version of Ethereum. So the developers, one developer went one way, another developer went another way, and now we have the new Ethereum
2.0,
which is the biggest one. Ethereum Classic, it still runs off of the original code, and supposedly that vulnerability is still there, even though I don't think it's been taken advantage of. But the reason I'm very bullish on Ethereum Classic is because it is efficient and it works well. But what's going to happen when Ethereum stops miners from mining? So that's something I'll bring up real quickly. A coin that you can mine is called a POW, a proof of work. The way that it figures out that blockchain, that ledger equation, is by these servers working, to prove the equation, right? Now, there's another one, it's called POS, proof of stake. And what that is, there are these node validators, and they're running tokens on them and the software on them, and that software is able to generate more tokens and validate things and blah, blah, blah. I'm not so big on proof of stake. I'm really big on proof of work, just because I think it can cause a huge industrial boom, where all these great businesses open up and they're running servers to provide hashing power for companies. And they do work a little bit differently. But in a nutshell, Ethereum, they're saying that next year Ethereum's going to switch over from the proof of work to proof of stake because they're saying that it's more efficient. I'm not so happy about it, but Vitalik, that's the guy who invented Ethereum. It's his code. And that's where he sees the future of it. So kudos to him. He's going to move it to proof of stake. And all the miners are going to have to move somewhere else. And I see Ethereum Classic being a very good candidate for all those miners, thousands of servers, thousands of them that are running on Ethereum. They're going to have to go somewhere to provide that hashing power. And for me, Ethereum Classic is going to be one of those cryptos because it is a decent project. Yeah, sure, it's got that vulnerability, but from my knowledge, nobody has infiltrated that vulnerability. So it's not anything that I'm too worried about right now. Another project that I really, really like is called HBAR.
High five. Utility based.
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
Love it.
These
I'm
two
all
are
about
over
utility
here.
based.
I'm trying to keep up with the both of you because I like most of our listeners are like, these aren't gold and silver we're talking about.
No.
No, they're not. And, Bitcoin, you can kind of describe. For me, I compare gold to Bitcoin. And the reason for that is I don't think that Bitcoin is extremely usable as Ethereum. Right. And what I mean by that is in my opinion, there are more companies that are using Ethereum's technology to run their technology.
It's just that Bitcoin's very slow.
Yeah. It's slower. It's heavy. It's freaking expensive to mine. I mean, you got to spend like $20,000 on a decent machine
just for Bitcoin.
to mine.
And that's,
yeah.
I heard that they're trying to pass that infrastructure bill with the regulations for cryptocurrencies. They want to remove 99% of cryptos, including Bitcoin, because it uses too much power. And they're making a big deal out of global warming right now.
I think I tell them, have fun. Go ahead. Try and take my Bitcoin away.
Yeah.
Good luck. That's the thing about Bitcoin is not one person runs it.
Yeah.
There's no way to shut it down. So the only way technically to shut it down, you'd have to have a global EMP. And
A global EMP.
Yeah, like, okay, that'd be expensive.
Modern Warfare 2.
I mean, yeah, right? Every single node operator would have to go kapoof overnight in order for it to be destroyed at this point in time.
Yeah.
It's guys like you and me. We're running these servers in our house or in our small business or in a barn or whatever. I mean, there are guys that are running these gigantic warehouses. They're millions and millions of dollars. I have some money in companies such as Riot. They're on the stock market. They're on the NASDAQ. Also, Hive is another one. These are both mining companies. And the last I read, I believe Riot, they did something like 60 or $80 million of mining in a quarter. A quarter.
Jeez.
Right? I mean, it's almost pure profit. It's like, yeah, you pay your electricity, but other than that, you make sure the machines are, well maintained, et cetera. But it's such a profitable business.
Yeah.
You're not dealing with 1,000 people. You're dealing with 1,000 servers. And something goes down, it's fantastic. Nobody's crying, nobody's complaining. You just go and you pull that machine off the rack, you put it on your workbench, you figure out what's going on, and hey, you get it fixed in maybe 15 or 30 minutes, and you put it back up. It depends. I'd say for me, my average repair is around 30 minutes. Say a machine goes down, a card is dead, or something going on. It takes about 15 to 30 minutes for me to figure out, what's going on with it.
Yeah.
But, how can you shut Bitcoin down?
Yeah, that's
how
what
do you
I
shut
asked
down
that
somebody
same
who
question
knows
too.
it?
Yeah,
How do you even do
can
that?
the government fully regulate it? It's
Right.
not anything that can be regulated. I've had, my parents, I'm trying to get my family into crypto too, because I think it's the future. And they asked me the same thing. Well, what happens if the government decides to take it away?
Mm-hmm.
How? If you have a platform like MetaMask, so that decentralized wallet, there's no person regulating it. It's literally a bunch of servers around the world that are running the blockchain software that governs itself. It's, like it runs itself. The blockchain says, hey, this is allowed and that's not allowed. And if the government tries to get into the blockchain, they can't. Once the blockchain is made, it's locked, it's it. That's it. You can't, like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I'm pretty positive Bitcoin cannot be altered. It is set in stone. There's only 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be able to be made. I think we're around like 19 million or 18 million. And that's it.
I'm interested to see what happens when they're all out. I want to see how much the value skyrockets.
I think by time we're old guys in our 70s, a Bitcoin is going to be about $1 billion each.
Really? You don't think something else would come and take its place, though? You don't think Bitcoin would be dead at that point? I mean, we're talking 7. That's, 30, 40 years for us.
So, like, I'm trying to compare crypto to kind of like the stock exchange, right? How old is the stock market? It's over 100 years old. While a lot of things in the stock market, in my opinion, are antiquated, the stock market should be running on a crypto.
Didn't Bitcoin just hit the New York Stock Exchange like a couple weeks ago for the first time ever?
That's
in
why
the
it's
U.S.
so
I knew that
it went mainstream.
In the U.S.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
Once something hits the stock market, it's protected by the U.S. government. Isn't that why, the government allows companies to list their business on the stock market for a free exchange?
The initial public offering.
Right? So it's like, how the heck is the government talking about shutting these things down and regulating these things?
Right.
They just approved
Makes no
it.
sense.
They just approved it on the
Right.
stock exchange.
Right.
I think there's just a lot of different parties of people coming at it, and they're all giving these different ideas. And in my opinion, a lot of the older politicians really aren't hot for it. They don't like it.
Because it's different.
Yeah.
Well, I think they
People don't like
understand
change.
it.
Yeah, people just don't like change. They
they
don't like
don't-
what they don't understand.
Yeah, they don't understand it. Like for me, cash is very easy to understand. And I think that's why a lot of people are bullish on like Shibu or Dogecoin. These are these like meme
coins.
coins. By the way, I made 10 grand on Dogecoin.
You can make money off of it.
I made a killing off of Dogecoin, right? I bought it at 2 pennies, and people were crying when it came down to 20 cents. And I'm going like, God, I can't believe this thing's over a penny.
See, that's what I want Shiba to do. Like,
I'm not a gambler though.
I don't
You
think
know?
another coin's going to be the next big. Like, personally, I don't see something. Because I have a lot of people that I know who are like, oh, I bought this, it's the next Bitcoin. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think there is going to be the next Bitcoin.
I agree with you. I think Bitcoin is the first to market. They're going to be the hot dog, the top dog, and they deserve to be. It's a very secure platform. It's very hard to alter. From what I understand, it can't be. Like from what I understand, I think Satoshi is the only guy,
And nobody even knows who that is.
Nobody knows because he's just some address on his blockchain. He's just some random, wallet address.
That's crazy.
And that's what identifies him on the blockchain. Nobody would ever know who he is.
Yeah.
That's what's so fantastic
So
about it.
going into this meme coin stuff, so a meme, for anybody who doesn't know, a meme's like a joke.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be taken serious. It's essentially just like a joke. You see them online all the time where you see a picture of something and then they annotate it to say something funny.
Yeah.
So essentially that's what a meme is for those who are listening.
Memes are doing hot. I mean, look at the past 2 years. It's been a whole freaking meme the past 2 years, if you ask me,
So going to what a meme coin is, why are they popular? What is a meme coin?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
it really doesn't have any world use cases, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not utility backed, so
That's right. It's not solving anything.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not. So when I mentioned the blockchain and the machines that are helping figuring out, an equation to solve something on the ledger, to do something nice, like the meme coins don't have all of this.
So they don't have any feature to it.
No.
They're
just there.
Yeah, it's just there. It's just a fiat. Like, to me, Dogecoin is kind of like cash, but digital. And the reason that I did get into Dogecoin is specifically because Elon. I really like Elon. I think he's one of the smartest people in the world right now.
I think he's the Da Vinci
100%.
of our
100%.
time. Honestly, I
and
do.
you have both spectrums. Some people go, "Oh, he's absolutely insane. He's never gonna be able to do any of that stuff." And then you have the other guys like me who are going, "Dude, he's gonna figure out all of it."
Yeah, space travel and
100%.
living on Mars.
I mean,
The
you know,
thing-
but I was so bullish on Dogecoin because he came out and said, "Why do we necessarily need to have such a complicated, crypto?" Because crypto can be complicated. Like when you start getting into blockchain and nodes and staking and all this stuff, like it gets complicated. Dogecoin, it's just money. And so I really like that. I went, hey, I think this can be a big one because they're not advertising like, oh, we're, running all these other companies and doing these great projects and this and that. We're just a digital store of value. We're just a digital asset. And for me, that was why I put my money in there, because Elon was saying, hey, I think this is going to be just a token for people to get into, get their, toes in the water, learn how to use an exchange and learn what a wallet is and moving it around. Like, why does it have to be so complicated? It just needs to be a simple digital currency.
Right. That's why he refers to it as the people's coin.
I gotta say though, this is the part that gets me and a lot of other people I've talked to. I don't like that a tweet.
Yeah.
This is what I hate about crypto, from what I see. But I guess the stock market's the same way because it's all emotion based. It's not really numbers based. But I hate that Elon Musk can wake up one morning and be like, I'm gonna screw everybody by saying, like he did with Shiba actually, except it didn't go down. I remember he tweeted saying, I don't own Shiba. I don't like Shiba. I like Doge.
And it tanked.
Yeah.
It didn't. It went up.
It went up?
It went up because he said that. Because people were like, "Oh, it can't be. He must be
Really?
saying this."
I
It
know.
tanked for a second, but it went up, and I was
Wow.
like, "Whoa!" But I
He
hate the fact.
definitely does a lot of market manipulation. He's a funny guy. So I think he's put on the pedestal. Why aren't we looking at the banks who are manipulating the gold and the silver price right now because they're trying to get it? In my opinion, gold should be double the price right now if you go
It's
back
up to
to a
1,800
10-year.
now.
Yeah, but if you look at a 10-year chart, it was 1,800 10 years ago when our country went through similar, financial issues.
Yeah.
Right? How is gold the same price right now? How is silver less than half the price of what it was 10 years ago? That's called market manipulation. And that's a $10 trillion market cap in gold. So when people come and they go, oh, I'm so pissed that Elon, he said something, and crypto went down. It's like, man, if you should be mad at your banks, because they're screwing all of us.
Before I one of the most notable things before I left the bank was one of my clients who put like $3 million into gold coins, like back when they were like $1,400, $1,300. And I go, what's going on? He's like, I just have a feeling. He's like, I've been through this once, but he's an older character.
He's smart.
It's like $15-16 million a year. And he goes, I just have a feeling. I've seen this before. I'm going to go straight gold. So he starts buying gold coins, like $20 million. I remember going into the boss's office and they're like, what the hell? He's being scammed or what? Like, is this one of those Nigerian prince like scams? The
Nigerian prince.
The
scams.
Canadian lottery. Because we used to see those.
I still
That's so
deal with.
funny.
It's not funny. I actually had a client today authorized $2,550 to a scammer that called them.
See, and
Wow.
we would
$2,500.
that's nothing,
Unbelievable.
man.
That's ridiculous.
That's nothing. I've seen it in the 50s, the 100,000s. I got to
The
see
big
it.
ACH.
Oh, yeah, I've
the
seen
fake
it.
ones.
I have
I've
seen it, like-
some elaborate ones.
Here's what he does. He brings me, I think it was like a Rosalind gold coin, whatever it was. He hands me the instructions, and the instructions look fake. I mean, they're like,
What do you mean instructions?
Well, the wire instructions.
to
Because
send
like
them
part
money.
of our training
Yeah,
was
to
like
get
we
it.
would look at the document, we'd look for like odd displacements and different types of font. This thing looked fraudulent. I literally was like, "Are you sure
You want to do this?
Like I'm like, "Are you sure you want to
Yeah.
do this? Are you sure you know where this is going?" And like when we do a wire transfer, this we always used to take your driver's license, your
Yeah.
debit card, and then the paper. This is how it just is. You go to the person who's approving it, and they're reviewing it. They look at the dollar amount. They look at the information. I knew the second I was gonna hand this paper over, they were like, he's being
gonna question
scammed,
it.
right? Yeah, and I'm like, I told him. He says he knows. Blah blah blah. I'm like, because we can't stop you from doing it.
Yeah.
we've helped a lot of people, though. I know people are like, oh, there's the bank's trap. We've saved millions of dollars of clients' monies just by taking that extra step to be like, do you really know what this is? Because it doesn't look right. This was one of those, it didn't look right. Nothing looked right about it. So like 600,000 goes out. This is the first time 600,000 goes out. He gets the coins. He ends up getting the coins. I was like, oh shit, okay, this is real.
It's actually real.
It's real. Even I was surprised. So then he starts doing it again, and he starts getting to the point like every week. He's sending his people who are on the account to go do, because he was so busy. But we're like up to like $2.5 million, and he calls me and he goes, I don't even have a place to put these anymore. Like, should I send them back to the company for a fee and they'll hold it? And I said, no. I'm like, if you're asking me my opinion, I don't think you should let anybody but you hold it. I said, look for those companies that allow you to store things through their private safes, because there are companies like that where you can, and it's expensive.
Gold storage. It is expensive.
Very expensive.
But when you're spending $2.5 million on gold,
right.
you know.
He came up on just insane profits after that. And, I've talked to him recently, and I was like, he must be happy. He's like, yeah, I liquidated like a good chunk of it. Like, he's made, he made millions off of just holding for a year or two, just like pre going, the gold, I'm just going to go for it because it's got this trend, like you were saying, this trend of, but.
Yeah, for me, it's to protect myself from the government. It's a hedge.
He was the same way.
It's
like, I don't
hedge.
trust him.
I
don't trust any government. I don't
trust
care.
them,
I don't care who's behind it. I don't care who's at
Yeah.
the podium. I don't care. He's like, I just
agree.
don't trust it altogether.
Good for
I
him.
agree.
Good for him.
Yeah.
So you said H bar?
Yeah, so we've got.
What else?
Right? We got pretty sidetracked.
Oh, we
there.
get sidetracked all the time, my man.
It's for sure Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, H bar, and I'm really bullish on this token called Dashcoin.
Okay.
It's not doing so well right now. It's got like a 2 billion market cap, but just for me, the way that they are marketing or pushing their project, they want to replace credit card merchants. That's what they're after. Like, they want to take the place of credit card merchants. So I am pretty bullish in that, and I do have.
You see the vision behind the company.
Yeah,
huh?
it's like they're already running it in other countries where they're literally replacing a credit card machine. Like, they have their device, and you go and you just go blink, and it goes through their Dashcoin, and it's like a 0.001 of a penny.
Oh, that's cheap.
Oh, it's nothing. It's
gotta look
nothing.
into that.
So it's one of the cheapest cryptos to move money around, and you get it instantly. Like, so by time you
What is
push
that trading at right
the
now?
button, I think it's around 200 or something like that.
Oh, 200.
Yeah, around like $200 or something like that.
Wow.
And also another thing I like about it is that there is a limit of how many Dashcoin can be created, and it's a lower number compared to many. And if they were to go to a bigger market cap, like say 10 billion, who knows where that price of the coin will go. So Dashcoin for me is another one that I am bullish on. I'm pretty bullish on Ravencoin. I think Ravencoin is a pretty cool small cap project. Some of the bigger ones, Algorand. I don't know if you know.
That's
about
a good one.
Algorand. So for me, Algorand is like a bank. For me, Algorand, what they're trying to do is replace a bank. Their whole project is like, hey, we're like slow and steady money wins the race. And to me, that's what Algorand is. They're really focusing on the financial institution side of things.
Yeah.
And I know that they are in talks with a country. I can't remember which specific country, but that country is actually in talks with them to adopt their CBDC on Algorand. And so I think that's a very, very bullish thing. Also, XRP. XRP is a very big... Oh, dude.
This guy tells me. He
My
tells
man.
XRP
Thank
to
you.
the moon.
Please,
I take him to
please.
lunch, and he goes, I think I'm going to be a millionaire pretty soon here. He goes, how should I spend
I'm
it?
bullish, man. I'm bullish.
I'm very
I am
bullish on XRP. The reasons for that is it's extremely efficient crypto. It's very fast, very lightweight, easy to run. Supposedly, from what I've read, it's easier to integrate with. So that means it takes less work for a developer to accomplish something with it.
And if you compare XRP to, say, Ethereum, the fees for Ethereum are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're high.
Yeah, I've heard.
I think right now the fees are around $40 or $50 the last time I checked. But I had a little while ago I made a boo-boo. I moved some tokens to a wallet where it kind of got stuck.
Oh,
It was a
man.
decentralized wallet, and once you put tokens into this wallet, you couldn't use them on their platform. It was kind of funny. Anybody who's using Trust Wallet and the TUSD, watch out for that. But so I moved the money into this wallet called Trust Wallet, and then I figured out I couldn't use it. So I was like, oh, crap, I need to move it back. And they charged me $80
just to move it.
to move Ethereum.
Jesus.
And that's one
I guess
of the
that wire
issues.
transfer is not too bad. No.
Yeah,
Too
right?
bad.
But that's one of the issues that's going on with Ethereum, and that's part of the reason why Vitalik is moving it over to proof of stake to make it more efficient and cheaper to run and blah blah blah.
That
So I
makes sense,
get,
yeah.
I get why he is moving it there, because the fees have gotten out of control. I don't know if their original idea was, hey, we're going to have $500 billion in this thing. I don't think maybe they didn't plan that far. I'm unsure, but the fees earlier on, they were much lower. And then as it scaled, it's getting more expensive to run. But a way to fix that, or a way around that, is to build what's called a layer 2 on top of it. So I'm very, very bullish on a project called Solano.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Solano, I think, is going to, in my opinion, be one of the next, quote unquote Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, And specifically because, well, for one, it's very fast and efficient, but they're getting into like all the different markets. They're getting into just your typical like ledger type stuff. They're getting into metaverse stuff, which is, for any of you who don't know metaverse is a virtual world, Any of you guys who thinks it's not going to happen, trust me, within 10 years, we're going to be in a virtual world. You're going to wake up and your kid's going to go to the frickin' kitchen table and eat their cereal and then put some damn goggles on and hang out with their friends, right?
When
No,
you say-
is that part of I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, that when you say virtual world, are you talking about like how people are buying art pieces, virtual crypto art pieces? And for those who don't know, there are people who are spending millions of dollars.
NFTs. You're talking about
Millions.
NFTs.
I don't know what I'm
those-
talking about.
Yeah,
That's
so
why-
those are called NFTs. NFTs to me are a small piece of what Solano is trying to accomplish in the long run. But Solano, they are running a very big backbone of NFTs. NFT is a non-fungible token, and in a nutshell, what that means is a person can design a digital piece of art, and that art is also its own crypto. And it gets a worth on it by how many people want it, or you could put a specific price on it or whatever. It's like it's a digital piece of art. That's
Right.
what an NFT is. To me, metaverse is on a much larger scale. So metaverse is, say, like you and we're here talking and hanging out and, physically touching each other and etc. The metaverse is going to be a digital version of this. So where, all of us, we put these like VR headset goggles on, which Facebook owns, by the way. They own Oculus.
Oculus, yeah, that's right.
And you're going to go into this virtual world. And as an example, all three of us, we can come to a meeting here, and we can hang out and do all this stuff. And hey, by the way, I've got a cool NFT, and you pull out this digital piece of art and I can
shows up.
show you
Wow.
exactly.
That's insane.
So this is where I think things are going to go, where they're tying in the metaverse and the NFTs, because like for the video game industry, the video game industry is huge. I mean, it's absolutely massive, and it's getting bigger by the day because there's so many lazy people in the world, and it's so easy. So there are video games now that you get rewarded in crypto to play it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I missed that one, but I mean, there are these kids that were on Reddit and they're like, you guys, I'm a millionaire. I've been playing this game, Axie Infinity, and the token was like a penny, and now it's $150.
Wow.
It's like, oh my God, right? But so the metaverse to me is a digital world. You're going to immerse yourself in this digital world, and then they're going to tie in things like NFTs. And NFT, it can be something like this water bottle here. It could be something like your laptop. It could be, say, for a video game, a gun, a sword. It could be anything. It could be plants. It could be grass. It could be anything. It could be some funny picture on the wall. But so think about this. Say you're playing a video game and you have 10 million people playing this video game, and now somebody who's running that video game says, "Hey, the person who finds this NFT will get rewarded $1 million." Imagine what that would do.
People are going to start playing this thing nonstop.
100%. People are going to jump in that video game. They're going to run around that video game until they find that NFT, because when they find it, they're going to get rewarded that. But on their journey to find that NFT, they're going to be finding other NFTs, or possibly meeting other people, having fun, making money. Like the metaverse, it's not just going to be some game. There are people that are going to go in there and work for their income. You could be doing this in a metaverse, So that's really how far it can go.
I believe that. I really think that's the next step. One interesting thing that I want to bring up is, so I've read articles too where people say that, like on Reddit and all these other posts, like, I'm a millionaire, I woke up a millionaire. But the reality is, doesn't there have to be a need for those people to even cash out? Like, they're theoretically, yes, billions and jillions and millionaires, but there's no way for them to cash out, because doesn't it work in that same way? Like in the market, you have to have people who want to buy.
So you're incorrect. Cashing out $1 billion, yeah, that's probably going to prove to be very difficult. I don't know how.
You probably need a legal team or something, man.
Yeah, that could be a bit much. A buddy of mine, he does know how to move over $1 million quite easily without too many red flags. There are companies out there that they will actually pay you for your Bitcoin. So while these crap coins, I'm not saying any bad language, but there are a lot of crap coins out there. Say you make $1 million on a crap coin. Who wants a crap coin?
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
You're a billionaire in this garbage coin, but nobody wants it.
All you do is convert it to Bitcoin.
That's what it is. So it can be converted to.
So you might have to go through some hoops. You might have to convert it and pay a fee.
Yeah.
But okay, I paid a 2% fee on $1 million that I invested $10,000.
That I could have never have even. Yeah.
Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo for you.
I never could have even have
done
anything with it. It makes sense.
Here's an example of how I know that you can get money out without any issues, right? There are companies online that accept Bitcoin for physical gold. I mean, they will accept over $100,000 in Bitcoin for physical gold. So you can convert your crap coin to Bitcoin, which is a much better project, more, stable, less volatile, right, etc. And you can go to this website and buy $100,000 worth of gold, and they send you the gold. So it's really not that difficult to cash out. I mean, there are other ways. It's like you could talk to somebody and say, "Hey, I want to buy your house for this much, crypto." Sure, if they accept it, great. They open up a wallet and you say, "Okay, what's your wallet address?" And they give you that random, wallet name, and boom, you send the money over, and now you've converted that digital asset into a physical
because you bought something
asset
with it.
because you actually bought something. Yeah,
that makes sense.
And on a smaller scale, though, that project Dashcoin that I was talking about, they came out with a new application that allows you to convert crypto into digital gift cards on the fly.
Really?
That's cool.
And like
that's
Visa.
cool.
We're talking like Visas and
You're talking
Apple iTunes cards.
Walmart, yeah. Walmart, Microsoft, Apple, Costco, Target, all the big, just like the big corporations, obviously, because they're tied in with the gift certificate companies, and they make a little money when a gift certificate gets used. But that's also another way that you can use it, is there are now specific ways that you can convert crypto into usable things. You can convert it into a gift card. You could convert it into gold. You could buy a freaking house. Like, there are real estate companies online. So back to NFTs, you can actually NFT a house.
Yeah, I saw the digital house, right? You buy digital houses.
Oh, no, I'm talking about a real physical house. There are digital ones. I'm not talking about that. But you can actually NFT a physical property. And what I mean by that is that property gets put on the blockchain, and now it has been digitalized in the fractional portion. That's kind of just like, how the stock market works. So a buddy of mine and me and a handful of other people, we're getting a project going now. It's about a 2 to 3 year timeline on it, and it's a crypto boutique hotel. So the boutique hotel is going to just about strictly run off of crypto.
Wow.
And it will be based off of its own crypto token
That's awesome.
that will get fractionalized. So the building will get fractionalized, right? And for the original investors, the people that invest into it, we need about a 10 million or so raising to be able to create this boutique hotel. So as the investors start buying, say they buy a $10,000 part of that investment, they are now going to get a part ownership in that property, right? Because it has been fractionalized into an NFT, which is something that when you own it, you own it. Because that digital is tied to that physical, right?
Yeah.
And so if you fractionalize it, you can buy little pieces, because I can't afford a $10 million boutique hotel, right? But hey, I can afford a $10,000 part of it.
I can
to
afford
own.
the tile. I can afford 2 tiles of this place.
But I can afford a fractionalized part of it. And so one of our other ideas that we want to do with it is kind of like a timeshare idea. So we're going to have 2 different tokens for it, most likely. And the second token is going to be for like a timeshare part of it. So you buy X amount of this token, and it gives you that part of the NFT, and that gets you this room that many days in a year.
Wow.
And then, you want to get rid of your timeshare? Sure, sell it. You don't want to get rid of it because you think, this idea is going to grow and you're going to make money. That's another great thing, right? So say you open up one hotel, you raise the $10 million, and your token goes from a penny to 2 pennies, right?
You doubled.
You just doubled. Now you say you do another raising of money and you raise more money, you build another hotel, and that project does well, and it runs off of the same token, but now you've put another $10 million into that token, and now it's gone from 2 pennies to 4 pennies. So if you look at like an original, timeshare idea, talk about crap. Timeshares have gone to hell, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know a lot of clients
They're
who are
not-
selling theirs.
Yeah, they're getting rid of them because of the fees and the maintenance and all that stuff.
The
is
blackouts,
more,
the not being able to go. Not
it's
being able
more
to-
money. It's more money than it costs to go rent a freaking room.
Yeah.
So think about that. You're not only buying this, fractionalized NFT for personal pleasure. You're also buying it for an investment, because who's to say in another year or two that more people are going to buy into it and then build another hotel. And the better that project, that physical project, the better that physical project does, the better the cash flow is at the end of the year. The more people that get into it, the more that it grows, the more money that token is worth. It's a really amazing time, that we have this type of technology. And to me, it's mind-blowing, and it's going to change the world. Because what it allows some Joe Schmo, they can't afford the whole Mona Lisa, so to say. But hey, I can own a square of the Mona Lisa. And if you ask me, I would love to own a square of the Mona Lisa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it gives us little guys the ability to be able to be a part owner in certain things. And yeah, they do have that right now, in regular fiat. But I'm not a fiat guy. I think cash is crap right now.
too.
And for me, I think that crypto, it's the future. And especially when you got stuff, when they're tying the physical world into it,
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
it's going to be amazing. I mean, from getting into that project, the boutique hotel, and I had to dive in and find somebody who can help us. It's called an STO, a security token offering. So we have to create our own crypto token and then raise money. And to do that, wow, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of rules and stuff that you have to do to get to there. So I had learned quite a bit because of that, and it's been pretty neat. But at the end of the day, it's like if you can digitize a physical asset is amazing. And there are these companies that I found online where they are selling homes for crypto. So either a single NFT, right? So you can buy the house and it's an NFT and you just buy it outright. You pay for it. It's yours. Or you can do that fractionalized thing where you own a part of that property. When I was doing my research, I think there's one up in Aspen, the Aspen Mountains, and it was like a $40 million, project, and they successfully turned it into an NFT and fractionalized it between people, and that whole property has now been digitalized, on the blockchain, and people own it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's an amazing.
There's a lot to take in, man.
There's so much more than meets the eye. I get it when people, they see crypto and it's just these like lines going up and down. You're going, oh my God.
It's a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, it could be stressful, and you're sitting there and you're seeing your money going up and down. But for me,
but if you look at the graph over 10 years, it does this.
Oh, it's more like that.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But obviously, we are in a bubble, or not a bubble, or an adoption phase.
Yeah.
So right now it's blowing up. But in my opinion, right now it's at less than a $3 trillion market cap. This is gonna go past 10 trillion. Like, what is our New York Nasdaq? I think is over a 10 trillion market cap.
Something like
Why
that.
shouldn't it be bigger than that?
Yeah.
And anybody who questions, hey, crypto's not as cool. It's not as functional. It's not running real people. Nah, that's bullcrap. It is. These blockchains are actually solving problems for real people and real companies.
Yeah.
So as an example, there's a crypto called XLM. And XLM, it's very ledger based. It's very accurate. It's very fast. It's good at doing tiny transactions, which just so happens to be the stock market, right? So what's funny? I'll play the stock market from here and there, and I like losing money on it. But but there have been times when I'm on my platform and they stop trading. They say that their platform gets overloaded and it just stops. And we all know that's a bunch of crap. It's because they don't want people to either make too much money or lose too much money, or, we all know it's a bunch of crap. And they proved that this past year or so with the whole GameStop thing.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
They totally proved all that the market is 100% manipulated by the richest people in the world. Okay. It's been proven, and they proved that, But say you have a crypto like XLM and you get enough of these servers in the background to run it. How is it going to stop? It won't.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to
Nobody
go
can control it.
pause.
Right.
Nobody can shut it off.
Yeah.
Nobody could stop it. It's running on the ledger, and it's doing what the ledger does. And that's why I'm, really think our stock exchange should run on a crypto, because there's so many times where the stock exchange crashes. I mean, I've literally within a year of me learning, how to trade and doing different trades, over a dozen times I dealt with companies stopping trading, or something went wrong and they had to, kill the trade, stop the trade, or they had to pause trading. And it's like, what the heck is this, man? I get it. You guys have regulations and you don't want people to get crushed or whatever, but that's kind of the name of the game.
Right. It's not gambling if you can't design to win or lose.
Yeah.
But their excuse is that they're trying to protect the investor.
Yeah. That's their excuse, But we both know that's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
I mean, they
So
cleared that up during the whole GameStop thing, and then the AMC theater and all that, crap. I mean, the little guys clearly showed the big guy, like, hey, we
know what you're doing. Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag. I mean, they were able to prove it because there were so many people that were going against GameStop.
Not only did the government bail those companies out and those hedge funds that lost a lot of money, but they had the nerve and goal to go after the little guys for manipulating the market.
It's
and they
funny.
said we were just doing what they were doing.
Right? But then they don't go after some of these, politicians. I'm not going to name any names
Right.
who just so happen to sell all their Apple shares 2 weeks before one of the biggest market crashes in history, right? How do they not see a red flag in
Well,
that?
I mean, that's why these
You know?
probes are out there. That's why the legal probes are out there. I mean, it doesn't matter what side of the spectrum you lay on when you look at it in front of you. Having a private meeting with an executive from a company 3 weeks before something happens and either buying or selling your shares.
Yeah.
Just doesn't look normal.
But, it's like crypto can run the entire stock market. There would be no hangs, no crashes, no stops. As long as you have a good, blockchain running, it's just going to run and do its thing. That's one example of the power of the blockchain and what it could do.
I have a question for you, Noah. Do you think that eventually the stock market will implement the crypto blockchain?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah?
I really think that blockchain is going to start running the world. Right now it already is starting to run the world, but especially the further that we get deeper into this metaverse type of, lifestyle and the further we move along and more of the older, I guess baby boomers or the older generations, they start dying off. The newer guys like us and our kids, we're all on board, I'm all on board.
I mean, we grew up
I
in a
am.
digital
Yeah,
era.
we
That's the
we
difference.
grew up in it, so it's like if guys like us are running the world in 10 or 20 years, why wouldn't it run on blockchain?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could say, hey, if something better comes out, better than, blockchain, then
I doubt that.
maybe it'll run on that. I mean, you can't say, like, I'm not going to say doubt because,
You never know.
yeah, you never know, but it's like it could happen, it could
No, it
happen.
could,
Yeah,
exactly.
of course it can. I mean, sure, there's going to be some newer, greater thing coming out, whatever, but for
Yeah.
right now,
This is it.
this is it. And it's such a more efficient way to do it. So I 100% think that our stock exchange will eventually run on blockchain.
Nice.
Hopefully.
So any closing statements before we wrap this up here? We've been going about an hour 26.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, I really want to encourage people to get into it, and what I have been doing, this is just a budget for me. This is what I am comfortable with, right? So what I have done, I put $5,000 into bigger cap. What I mean by that, it is 100 billion or more, right? To me, that's a damn big cap. That's a lot of money, So any project, so for me, that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. I put that amount of money in it. I'm at more than a double on both of them. I'm very happy, and I've been dollar cost averaging into them and putting money in just every month slowly. And then for some smaller cap, like under 100 billion, say from 100 billion to 10 billion, I'm doing about $3,000, anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000. It depends on the project and how much I like it, or etc. And then for the smaller projects, from like $1 billion to say $5 billion, I'm doing 1,000 to 500. And then the projects that are like $1 billion and under, I'm doing about $500 down to $100. I did do a gamble. I don't gamble. I don't like gambling. I'm not a gambler, but I did gamble. I put $1,200 into Dogecoin. And I 10x'd my money, and I pulled 10K out of it. So
Nice.
that stuff does happen.
Yeah.
But it also goes the other way, So I do encourage you to really immerse yourself and jump into crypto. In my opinion, stick to the bigger, the better exchanges, such as, Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com. Those are some of the biggest ones. And in my opinion, I'm not a financial advisor. So I'm not going to give you any financial advice, but do what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you're putting a dollar amount in there that makes you poop your pants, I don't think you know exactly what I mean.
funny.
Okay, I don't think you should be putting that amount of money in then.
Yeah.
But look at it in a long run.
Right. Not become a trillionaire overnight
Yeah.
type of deal.
Although I really hope that happens to me, and there are a few, smaller projects, and I'm really hoping that it does happen because I own a bunch of some of them. I don't encourage you to jump in all in on one because it is a very volatile market and it's still not regulated, so nobody could turn that switch off, and what I mean by that is like there was this famous person, I'm not going to name any names, but she went on, her Facebook and said, hey, jump into this new grand blah, blah, blah coin. Literally, it's a blah, blah, blah coin. It's junk. And millions and millions and millions of dollars.
And she whaled it.
Got dumped in. And within 7 days, it was 90% down.
Wow.
So you got to be very careful. They use it for
fraud too, because if you start trusting, like you're saying, if you start trusting just random people who say, put your money into this.
You got to be careful. I have been screwed on, there was a project called Bazooka Token. And I thought it was such a cool thing, the greatest thing since sliced bread, because what it was a digital token for an online casino. They had a full website, videos, support, everything. Like, it seemed so legitimate, and everything went belly up.
Wow.
And the ways that you can protect yourself from stuff like that is stick to the projects that have much bigger market caps, and then stick to, centralized exchanges like Coinbase.
Yeah.
So even though it is centralized and yes, they're tracking you and blah, 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 I do believe that Coinbase has your back. And the reason I say that is they're not putting projects on there that are very dangerous. You know what I mean? Like they're not putting projects on there that are some $20 million project that literally one person can come in and
shut it off
and tank the entire thing, and manipulate the whole thing. So
Some good advice.
yeah, I would just, say to take caution in the smaller cap stuff. And if you're a person that likes to play it safe, Bitcoin and Ethereum, just, dollar cost average. Don't feel like you have to, let me get all my money in, right now.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, I started getting into Bitcoin at 10 grand and, made some money and it went up and I sold it and then it went boom, and went past 30 grand and it hit like 60 or something.
They were
and
at
then,
62, 63.
and I went, oh my God, I missed it. No, I didn't. It came back down to 30. And I went, oh man, I get to buy again, And so I started buying and I said, why am I waiting for such a big dip? They have this auto pay feature in Coinbase. Every week, $50 goes into Coinbase and it's the dollar cost average and you call it a day.
Yeah.
And it takes all that stress out. So it's like, I bought Bitcoin at 10 grand, at 30 grand, at 60 grand, at 45 grand, at 15 grand. It's just, I just dollar cost average into it.
Keep buying $50 worth, and
for me, it took a lot of stress off of me because in the beginning when I first got into it, I mean, oh my God, it goes 24 hours. So no joke, I was up at 4 a.m.
Trying to look for that dip, huh?
Oh my God, man.
That was me 3 months ago.
Yeah,
when I got into it.
That was me a few years ago. Yeah, a few years ago, and it's too stressful.
It is.
It's very stressful. If you want to be a 24-hour trader and have a stomach ulcer, go right ahead. But in my opinion and from my experience of what I've done in the past few years, dollar cost average.
Yeah.
Just put what you can, little by little, whether it's once a week or every other week or once a month, not more than you can handle, but slowly dollar cost average into it.
Nice.
And what's nice is, like, for me, I hadn't checked my Bitcoin wallet in months, and then when it hit, I think it just hit 68,000 the other day. I went in there and I'm like, damn, I'm going, man, I'm happy a dollar cost average in there.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. And I'm in it for the long term.
Yeah.
So,
you think it's going to go up to like $500 $1 billion a coin?
I really think by the time we're old guys, it could be $1 billion a coin.
I hope so. I hope so for everybody.
I mean, when there's only 21 million of them, and there's 21 million millionaires in the world that want that coin,
it'll be
how much?
The price,
how much are they going to pay?
Yeah.
To own one, coin?
That's
right.
Yeah.
It's quite unbelievable. And I really think we just live in such an amazing time of opportunity. Yeah, a lot of stuff in the world is going to hell, but there's always
Eventually it'll
opportunity.
get fixed, right?
It will.
Yeah, it'll go
and
back
there's
to
so
normal
much
eventually.
opportunity, So I would, really just seize the opportunity, jump in it, whatever. If it's $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million,
Something.
whatever your number is, just get into it.
Yeah.
You just got to get into it, because once you get into it, I think you're going to feel whether you like it and
Or
believe
don't.
in it or don't. And if you don't, okay, fine, get out. It's fine. We don't need your money, that's fine. It's like with China. I don't know if you guys know what's going on with China, but they said they ban cryptocurrency. It's kind of
They ban
funny.
it like every year, right?
Well, it's been banned, right? Like it's always been banned.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently, right? But so what happened when they did that? The price of the crypto has started coming, way down, and all these buyers came in, So you can't always look at a downside like a downside.
Yeah.
You
It's
can look at the
opportunity.
downside, like opportunity. And even though I know it can be difficult, because there's been many times, when I first started, when it started going down and I sold it, and I should have been buying more, right?
Did you freak out?
But yeah, you freak out.
Start seeing 50,000 go into 20,000
Yeah.
or 10,000 go into 2,000. You start thinking, oh crap, I'm gonna lose all my money.
Yeah, it could be a little nerve-wracking, but for me, what's gotten me over that is that long-term mentality. I am at least a 10-year from now. Like, I'm not going to cash out all my stuff for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a big bear market, I might cash out some of my top performers
To get more.
to just hedge. Yeah, you got to take some profit here and there, right? But I'm a long-term guy. I really am in it for the long term, and especially getting into mining. I'm, currently in the process of getting a loan, $500,000 loan to get enough hardware, and that type of loan, that's enough for me to generate roughly $50,000 a month net.
That's awesome.
So that's all. That's quite a long closing.
Yeah.
But seize the opportunity. Because if you don't take that first step, you're not gonna get into it.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
That's
you
fair.
gotta get
I
into
agree.
it. Hop on Coinbase. They freaking pay you. They literally
Yeah, they gave
pay
me $5 in Bitcoin.
to a referral fee, or you can go in there and you can read and you can watch about the different projects, and they freaking reward you, man.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of world do you live in? Now you can sign up for a website and they pay you
Yeah.
to learn about something. It's like I'm constantly learning. Like I'm in this stage in my life right now where if something doesn't make me money, I'm really
doesn't
not.
make sense.
Yeah, I'm really not doing it. Like it's family for me. It's family and money. Because it takes money to run my family.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like if you can hop onto something and read something for 5 minutes and get paid $3 in a token,
Yeah.
okay, And yeah, it may sound crazy, but $3 a Bitcoin 10 years ago, you'd be very wealthy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think we learned quite a lot.
I learned
did.
a lot.
And
learned a lot.
honestly, we're gonna have to get him back on
We should.
to dive into this again.
Oh,
we should.
Glad to be here. Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, no, it's our pleasure to have you. And
know?
Yeah.
with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close out. We appreciate everybody taking time out of their day to tune in. We've been really excited for this one, and I'm very happy with the way everything turned out. If anybody has any questions in regards to putting a security measure in their business digitally, feel free to reach out to Noah or myself, and we'll get you in proximity with him to make sure that, his expertise can help you protect your business as well, because he does do managed services on the IT side for corporations and any business that needs to, defend their infrastructure. So with that being said, again, thank you both for coming out
my
as
pleasure.
usual,
for having
and we
us.
look forward to
Yeah,
having
thank
you
you.
again. And Everybody for listening, we appreciate your time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you want to pick the next topic, join our membership program. That's how you can pick your topic of choice. Follow us on Instagram, MITM Business Consultants. And we will see you on the next podcast, which will probably be employee retention. So again, thank you, everybody. We appreciate your time and have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Man in the Middle. If you haven't yet, please consider liking and subscribing to the show. If you can't wait till next episode, follow us on Instagram at MITM Business Consulting and online at mitm.services. There, you can learn more about what we do, how we can help, and the custom services we offer around your personal needs. Until next time, if you'd like to choose the topic we discuss and receive additional services, consider joining our membership program at mitm.services.
Disclaimer. Man in the Middle expressly disclaims any and all liability or responsibility for any direct, indirect, incidental, special, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of, reference to, reliance on, or inability to use this podcast or the information presented in this podcast.
We look forward to you tuning in next time.